when you guys came home, I mean, there was lots of care involved, right? And
it's hard work,
right? And so
to have an infant, a newborn.
So your whole routine changes, right? In terms of that, and then, I mean, physically, it's just, I mean, at least early on, right, with the feeding every couple hours,
every 3 hours or
whatever
so.
it was.
Yeah, it's hard work. Initially, it's very hard work. With a newborn, it's a lot of hard work.
And especially the first one, because it's all brand new.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
And
hopefully you don't break it.
Yeah, the thing is, everything changes. Like your sleep, right? Sleep is overrated until you don't get it. I've always learned that. And so with Dannon never fully slept through the night for a year and a half.
So every time I would get up to feed her or take care of her, Stephen would get up with me, and he would read a book while I tried to feed her to keep her awake.
Yeah, it was just everything changed, and you get through it.
It's crazy to go from having a baby inside you to this living, breathing, completely helpless creature that you have to leave the hospital with.
Right.
And be like, okay, do you guys have like a hotline that we can call if we have any questions? And they're like, yeah, call your mom. So, it can be scary, exciting, but scary, especially when you're completely sleep deprived.
I don't know. I just always knew that I would have a family, right? I mean, all my life, I just expected to eventually have a family. I never really thought too much about it or planned it out or, kind of had some big scheme.
And it wasn't like it was some big, deep discussion about whether or not we were going to start a family.
I'm sure we did talk about it at some point.
But it wasn't any...
There wasn't a scheme.
I mean, we were both on the same page, too. We both wanted kids, so...
That's what I mean. I'm sure when we were dating at some point, we shared with each other that we wanted to have a family, so that we were on the same, like you say, the same page as that. But I don't think we ever really talked much more about that, as far as when we were going to do it. And we got married and we were moving along in our life and enjoying ourselves and doing all that. We bought a house.
Yeah,
and we lived in our house for about a year.
We moved in 95.
Yeah.
Sarah was born 2 years later. So.
Yeah, because I realized that I was going to, all of a sudden, that I was going to be 30 and that I hadn't had a kid yet. And I was like, guess what we forgot to do?
Well, I think what is probably important to and I think it is, but I'm not sure, but I'm going to say it. Before we got married, Chris, we almost didn't get married because you wanted children, or you didn't. It wasn't that you wanted children; you didn't want to rule it out.
Right.
My position was I didn't want children, and so we had that big divide that we had to overcome, And so you were getting ready to move out, and then it gave me time to really reflect on what was important, and so I thought about it. And I was like, she wasn't demanding that we have children; she just didn't want to rule out that option. So we agreed that was what we both wanted, and so we got married based on the idea that we might have children.
I mean, to me, it was an overwhelming sense of responsibility. Because it was obviously the same with you, but with Sarah being the first, I remember holding her thinking that here's this little thing that is completely dependent on us to survive.
No, I didn't think that.
Well, no, I mean, but it was.
It's all true.
No, that it was. That it. I mean, it's a big responsibility. by far the biggest life-changing event.
Absolutely.
So, Carol's right. It's the joy. It's like your own body and soul right there, right? You're something you created. And it's unmatched in any other thing in life. But when you think that fades quick because it's diaper changing, it's the crying, it's your time. Time is not yours anymore.
Why is she crying? We don't know why she's crying.
And you're constantly in sensory overload, right? You got to take care of you, your spouse, the child, the house. There's so many things going on.
So for me, really, that feeling of, oh, I have my baby came a little later because of really the pure exhaustion. That she's not getting up in the middle of the night at 1, but well, not quite, but it's a full-time commitment, and by full-time I mean not 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day like a full-time job. It's 24 hours, and if the baby wakes up hungry in the middle of the night, you have to care for their needs, and it's wonderful and it's exhausting.
Keely, I don't know, Keely was found in a park at approximately 1 month old.
So they measured
in
her
a box.
And they said, oh, she must be 30 days old.
And it was in a park that was very close proximity to what?
I don't want her to hear.
To the police in a medical center, right? So it's common, like when you have parents that want to give up their child for adoption, they leave them in this park, and so that's how Keely became
part of the whole system.
You kind of shake your head. You're like, how do they do it? But I will tell you, the other couple that we went with were not like us at all. And the daughter that they got was a daughter that it was noticeable on their personalities
totally
that this little girl went to the right couple, and we got Keely. Keely is more outgoing. She was happy.
She loved balls, and in their bio they said she loved balls. She loved to sing. She loves music. Right? When we were in China, we bought balls. She loved playing and bells. She loved balls and bells. And now Keely loves music. She plays the viola. She plays the piano. She's very athletic. It's just amazing. I don't know.
There's a secret formula out there and it's on the Chinese side.
Right. It's somebody sat in a room and looked at all the girls that were available and picked her. No, that's the way.
I mean, we actually looked into adopting from Russia halfway through our process.
Because it was taking
so long. When we first started the process, Chris, it was in 2005. The timeline was, they said, within a year from the time you get your packet to the time you go and get your child is a year. A year.
Three.
So we're into year 2, and no updates. I mean,
we just keep renewing all our fingerprints and our background checks
and so I have a client who in the Hudson Valley, there is a Russian organization where they bring orphanage Russian children who are older, and they come here, and if you're interested, they will stay with you during the evening, and then
they stayed for the summer. Remember that program?
2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it can be 4 weeks, but the first 2 weeks they go to a Russian school. At night they come, or in the afternoon they come. They stay with you. They have dinner with you, and so on. And then next day, and then after 2 weeks, you have to commit. You either want to adopt or you don't. If you don't, then they take the child away from you and they place him with another family immediately.
Like, there's no way we can do that. I cannot.
Yeah, but they're older.
They're
I don't want you. They're older. They can range from 4 or 5 up to 12.
And that's another thing that kind of got talked out of, because they have a lot of issues as well because of the alcohol in Russia.
Yeah, most of those children have some sort of a defect, handicap, whether it's
usually alcohol related.
Yeah,
which is a lot of psychological problems. So it was hard.
Yep.
We started January 5th, 2005. We submitted our application, and Dannon was 5 years old. So she was a part of the whole thing. So we had to have somebody come and review our house, but it's all the paperwork that we had to do. The constant fingerprints and background checks and all that kind of stuff.
With a social worker.
So we had met with a social worker a few times. So all that, and it kept getting delayed. So each delay would cause one of our items to expire. So we'd have to do background checks again. So ultimately, when all is said and done and all the money's paid, we spent 3 weeks in China, and we went to pick her up. And it was, we received her on May 4th, 2008. So it took 3 years.
You have a lot of hormone issues that happen, but you have a lot of, I think, life circumstances that can contribute to, postpartum depression, anxiety. They say it's the same. They say it's one and the same, anxiety and depression. I never felt depressed. I felt just a tremendous amount of anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure, I was very aware of what was happening, and had some friends in my life that was able to help me right away, and some medication. I mean, there's a whole range of that can help people. There were things that I could have taken that I would have had to have me stop breastfeeding, and I wasn't willing to do that. But between that and my own will to get through it, and a few other things, like realizing that you can only do so many things at once, taking care of the baby is the priority, that within probably about 4 months, I was on the other side of that. But it's a long process, and they want you to keep doing things probably for about a year. Mm. It was probably one of the hardest things I ever went through, but very rewarding, because I felt like a different person on the other side of that. Mm. A lot of things changed. People say, you have no idea what is, how your life is about to change. And you say, yeah, everybody says that. I know it's going to change a lot. You do. You truly, nobody has any idea until you have your child. I mean, and some people have, situations where, it's easier for them. But yeah, I had hit me like a ton of bricks. Never, ever, ever expected it. Never. I see why, and it has, to me, a lot more to do with life circumstantial and my relationship than it did with my chemical makeup in my brain and hormones. I think it had less to do with that than it did my life circumstances.
I think the best lesson in life is failure. The best teacher is failure.
I think it's true.
And I think our parents these days, we worry about keeping them in that top 10 percentile in everything. And I think in the long run, it's not in their best interest.
Yeah,
I don't think it makes the most rounded. So having a kid, just support them, give them some guidance, but let them make the decisions and let them fall.
I would say spend as much time with your kid as you can. And it sounds cliche because it's what everybody talks about now and be in the moment, but it's true. Just be with your kid. Play with them, color with them, listen to them when they talk. It's hard for parents because they might not have the time. They're busy. They're trying to put food on the table. But give them that time. And always, always love them first.
Do you have any advice for anybody who is planning on having children or who has young children?
Enjoy every minute.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Have a good time.
Every stage.
I'm going to cry now. You better end it.